of the morning. It's decision day. Our 15 legislative councillors are about to head into the upper house, and at some point today, late into the night, maybe even stretching into tomorrow, we'll vote one way or the other on a proposed AFL stadium for Macquarie Point. Bec Thomas is the independent member for Elwick. Her electorate broadly covers Glenorchy. We've followed the stadium debate with her through the course of that decision-making process. And today, I'm hoping she'll share with you how she plans to vote. Bec Thomas, good morning to you.
Good morning, Leon.
Thank you for coming in. Bec, let's lead trumps. You've heard the evidence. One handful of Legislative Council members who have not announced their vote. Are you a yes or a no on the stadium?
Oh, Leon, let me start by saying this is hard. It has been hard. It has been hard for me and for the entire community, which has been really divided over this stadium debate, and that's been a really sad thing to experience. This has been one of the hardest decisions that I have had to make, and due to the studious approach that I've taken to critically analysing all of the information, to taking the time to meet with stakeholders, listening to community views, I've somehow ended up in this invidious position whereby I'm perceived to be one of a few who potentially have the power to make or break this, but I'm one of 15 Legislative Council members. We all have one equal vote, and it's going to be a hard day today. But
unlike the majority of those Legislative Council members, though, you have kept the trajectory of your vote, how you will vote, secret up until now, as you considered the evidence one way or the other. And so, to the question, we'll talk about how you came to it in a moment and what, if any, guarantees you've secured off the back of that. I'd love you, by the way, to join us on Facebook if you want to tune in there and see this conversation play out live. We've got other legislative councillors to join us in just a moment. Bec Thomas, how will you be voting on the stadium?
I have long said with all my heart from the outset that I want to be able to support this. I want Tasmania to have the opportunities that other states have. We deserve to have the infrastructure that other states have. We deserve to have our own AFL team, and that's long overdue. But I've heard the community concern about the cost of this proposed stadium at Macquarie Point. I've heard concern about location, uncertainty about benefits, and concerns about the impact on the area and on Tasmanians more broadly. So those concerns are all valid, and I've had to weigh those things up heavily. And the public focus has been on who's going to back this, is it going to get through? My focus, Leon, has been under what conditions, what safeguards would I need to see in place for this proposal to possibly earn my support. And that's why I've been working with the government on a range of economic, governance, design and community safeguards to protect the welfare of Tasmanians in the case of this project proceeding.
And so you've announced off the back of those guarantees, whatever they might be, and we'll dive into them in a moment, you will vote for the stadium today?
Well, I have thought long and hard about our role in this as a Legislative Council. The decision we are being asked to make today is a decision on an order. We are typically legislators, Leon. We are not a planning authority and we're not the government. What we're being asked to decide on is to issue a planning permit for a significant development. And to make a decision that would typically be the role of and the responsibility of executive government in deciding on an investment in a significant infrastructure project. So I've taken the approach here of generally seeking to form a balanced position, or genuinely seeking to form a balanced position that enables the government to deliver on its agenda whilst at the same time protecting Tasmanians. So I'm here to tell you and your listeners, Leon, that the government has agreed to a range of safeguards, and I'm happy to walk through those with you in order for me to be able to support this project.
To be clear, off the back of those guarantees from the state government, you will be voting yes on the stadium project when
I'll
it
be
comes
voting
before the Legislative Council?
Yes, my intention is that my support for this project, I have given my support to this project to the government, conditional on their agreement to a range of safeguards.
Bec Thomas, can you tell us how you expect the Legislative Council to vote today? You are one of a decisive number of previously unknown votes. You'll be voting yes. Do you anticipate that the stadium will pass through the Legislative Council today?
Look, it's a matter for each individual member. And as I said, this is hard. I will respect the decision of every single one of my colleagues. I'm not going to be questioning their decision. I'm not going to be criticising their decision if they disagree with me. It is each of our right to make an informed decision and do what we believe is in the best interests of Tasmania. And I believe each and every person in this, whatever their view, is putting their views forward based on what they genuinely believe is in the best interest of Tasmania. We all love this place. That's why we're so passionate about what we believe in, and we've seen that in the last couple of weeks with the rallies, people coming out in support of what they believe.
So you have secured these concessions from government, safeguards, you say, around design governments. I think they involve commitments to local sport as well as costs as well.
Yeah.
Have other legislative council members been with you in those negotiations? In other words, is what has comforted you to come to your vote comforted others that we might not know about to this point?
I've been having these conversations with the government individually, Leon, and I have had conversations with the Premier's office, and I've written to the Premier, and I'll be tabling my letter to the Premier today in full interest of full transparency. And pleasingly, they have agreed, importantly, one of the key concerns of the community and for me was the cost. And they have agreed to a fixed funding cap, Leon. They have agreed to a maximum state contribution of $875 million. And if costs exceed the current estimated project budget of $1.13 billion, they've agreed to seek additional funding from the Australian government, from the AFL or cricket, or look at value managing, reducing the project scope.
That's a really interesting guarantee to secure. They can't hit or can't spend more Tasmanian money than $875 million. Dare I say it, and not a red cent more. What happens if they need to, if that means real compromises in the construction cost of the project?
Well, that will be a discussion that will have to be had. The government has also committed to, importantly, to a governance and assurance framework, a governance and oversight framework, and there are significant layers of oversight now implemented into this project, including an independent watchdog in an independent probity advisor, and that's something that I've been requesting for months now. One of my core concerns was the amount of power vested in just one person, in the Secretary of the Department of State Growth, and so I'm really pleased that the government has also agreed to appoint an independent probity advisor to oversee decision making. But back on the cost, they have a P90 cost estimate. That's what the $1.13 billion.
What is a P90? Our listeners won't know what a P90 is.
So that means there's a 90% chance that the project budget will come in. Like there'll be a 10% variance either way, and there are contingencies and escalations built into the project budget. I've been assured of that, but ultimately that there'll be decisions that will have to be made should costs blow out about reducing scope of the project or seeking funding from other sources.
936 ABC Radio Hobart, ABC Northern Tasmania. Leon Compton with you this morning. Bec Thomas has announced she will support the stadium project, but there are significant assurances that she has received as part of that deal with the state government. You can join us too.